So I could spend the next few minutes just talking about the benefits of running and jogging and why you should start it and why you should keep at it. But I'm going to talk about a few things that are usually not talked about when it comes to jogging and running and including it into your exercise program. This is Fabi and welcome to 5 Minutes with Love Bay. The first thing that you really need to consider before you even start running or jogging is your shoes, your trainers. You need proper shoes that are really going to cushion you, that are really going to cushion your feet. The second thing is posture. This is vital. You need to maintain a very good jogging posture or running posture. So the basic jogging posture or the posture that you should have when you're jogging is as follows. So you need to keep short steps. That's for jogging. You need to keep short steps. You need to keep your back straight. You need your arms and your shoulders to be in a natural position. You don't have to strain or lift up your shoulders like that when you're running. This is a very unnatural position. You need them relaxed. You need your arms to be in a natural position. That way you'll be able to run when you're done with your running. I don't know if you've noticed this, but then there are times when you're from running and you feel there's a lot of pain in your shoulders. Usually that happens because we're not in a natural position. We're trying to strain ourselves instead of just being natural while it's running. Yes. Okay, so the other thing that you have to consider is you have to breathe naturally throughout. So how you can tell this is if you're able to talk and chat with the person that you're running with, if you're running with somebody, but yes, so if you're able to talk naturally and you're able to breathe naturally, that's an indication that you're doing the right thing. But then if you're straining or running too much and then running out of breath, that is that is not good at all. That means you're straining yourself. The other thing is you have to slightly raise up your chin or your chin and look forward. So when running, we're not running like that. Now we're running like this. We're looking up when we know where we're going, and yeah, that's how we're supposed to run. So the other important thing, excuse me, the other important thing is you don't drag your feet when you're running. Do not drag your feet when you're running. That's just causing a lot of injury and a lot of stress to your legs and your bones, and you could have stress fractures. Okay, so talking about stress fractures, we can talk about landing. Landing is I've seen so many people land on their heels. That is not good at all. That should not be done. You or landing on your toes. When you're landing on your toes, it's like bouncing and you're just going and it's really nice, like yeah. But then you need to land on your midfoot, especially if you're doing it for a very long time. And what I mean is like that photo. So you need to land on your midfoot. It helps to relieve the stress of your leg. And when you land on your heel, basically, or on your toes, you're increasing the risk of having stress fractures. And stress fractures are basically fractures that are tiny, small fractures that happen in our bodies, and we don't usually know it. And over time, you start experiencing pain, and you could have injuries, especially ankle injuries, and then the knee. It's really not a good sight. Really, it's not. So just the third point is do not at any point do too much too early. It's just not good for you. You need to start slow. Okay, start slow, start building from there. Help your body. So when you learn how to start slow and not do too much too early, you help your body learn how to recover, how to adapt, and how to develop slowly. Everybody is doing running these days. You could go in the streets and start running, okay? Then somebody comes and they're running a little bit faster and you'll be tempted. You will be tempted to follow their pace, but don't. It's don't. Just go with your pace. Just run at your own pace. Do not do what the others are doing. And on that note, it's important for you to mix it up. So by mixing it up, it's more of letting your body adjust to different terrains. Basically, when we are running in the same area, our body gets used to it, and when we move to a different area, the body tries and adapts, and it develops that way. But if you're using a tar rod, for example, all the time, that could cause pain, a lot of pain, and sometimes you wouldn't feel it in your legs. Mostly you'd feel it in your back, especially your lower back. So it's important for you to just change scenery once in a while. It's not gonna hurt. I don't know why I did not start with this word, but I always say this: always, always, always do a proper warm up, and always do a proper cool down and stretch when you're done. Right? It's very, very important. I can never stress how important this is, but you really need to do a warm up. By warm up, either you can do exercises at home, or at least at home before you go out and run. But you can also do a slow jog, so you can just warm up your body while you're jogging. But what is important, what I prefer to do with myself is to do uh, basically some exercises at home. It really helps to just get really warmed up and get most of my muscles activated. I'm less likely to cause injury to myself, especially if I'm changing the scenery and I'm not using my normal route. So I really need to get my body warmed up in most of my muscles warmed up, or all my muscles warmed up properly before I could go out and start running. That is important. And then when you talk about cool down, most people just go run, then come back, take a shower, and that's it. No, that really doesn't that really doesn't help out. What you need to do is stretch your muscles. You need to remove all of that, all of those toxins, all of those. I call them toxins because when we're running, mostly we're taught to breathe, but we don't always breathe enough. So there's lactic acid that builds up, and then when you cool down, when you stretch, you're basically allowing your muscles to eject, no, to remove all of those toxins and allow yourself to cool down. And one thing that we usually neglect, and that is rehydration and fuel. Rehydration is about water, fuel is about the foods that we take in. So, what do you do? What do you prefer? Do you prefer eating before running, or do you prefer eating afterwards, or um, taking water afterwards? If you have to eat before, it has to be an hour or an hour and a half, basically 2 hours before you go out running. That depends on how far you run and how much you do run. So afterwards, you also need to rehydrate. It's very important because when you're running, when you're exercising, you're losing a lot of water, you're losing a lot of energy, and you just need that to be replaced. That is important. But then the other important thing is, of course, rest and recovery. It's vital. It is something that we neglect, but then it's something that our bodies really need. We need, if you have to perform at your best, or if you have to give out your best, you need time for your body to just recover and bring itself back to normal. When you're running, you're basically tearing down your muscles. When you're doing any activity, any exercise activity, running and jogging is basically an exercise. So when you're doing that, you're breaking down body parts, or you're breaking down your muscles, and there's something called micro tears in your muscles that happen at that point, and you need time for them to recover. You need time for your body to just go back to normal, so that you can give out the best that you can give the following day. So have time to recover. You can, for some scientists, or some scientists do recommend running 3 times a week. If it's just for keeping fit, you run 3 times a week, so that you have a day in between to recover, to fully recover. But then if you're competing, you can do it 4 times a week, or even 5 times a week. But they don't recommend doing it and for the entire week, because you basically do need that recovery. Why should you jog and why should you run? So with jogging, we're basically increasing our heart rate, we're basically increasing our endurance. But then with running, we're using more of our energy and we're using more of our cardiovascular system, which is our heart and our, yeah, and our blood vessels. Yes. So with running, there's an increased risk of having heart problems, causing not heart problems. Sorry, uh, causing stress on our heart. And so with so much research, they have recommended slow jogging instead of running fast. But then if you're in sports or in a competition phase, it's important for you to actually run. But it's up to you to choose which one you will go for, because there are two types of running, in my opinion, of course. There is the usual running, and then there is running with resistance. If you have to take up running as part of your exercise program, it has to be consistent. By consistent, I don't mean it has to be done every single day. If you want to do it every single day, it's up to you, and you basically know your body. Everybody's body is different, and everybody responds differently to different situations. So you have to have a proper exercise program that will benefit you. I will see you next week in my next video. Thank you very much for watching. Make sure you subscribe, you like, you comment, you share with your friends, your family, and everybody that you know. See you next week.